roofing, so we could say they were almost doing the finishing touches.
At 5:45 a.m., soldiers from the Army Rescue Unit arrived at the incident scene and engaged in an intensive rescue operation. According to local sources, the person rescued was one of two security agents found at the site when the building collapsed. Also present at the site was the governor of the Littoral region of Cameroon, Governor Dieudonné Ivahadibois, who at the time of this report had not made an official statement regarding the incident. The chief executive officer of the media group in a release says the building was meant to host its future installations.
And regarding the collapse of that 7th-floor story building, the Armac media group in a communique signed today indicates that or confirms that a story building collapsed early Wednesday. The structure was meant to host its new offices. Authorities in Douala, led by Littoral Governor Samuel Dieudonné Ivahadibois, descended to the scene as early as 6 a.m. to take stock of the situation. Preliminary evaluation indicates that one person is missing as a result of the collapsed building, another injured with material damage yet to be established. A rescue team has been on the site to rescue victims. Investigations are underway to establish exact causes of the collapse of the 7th-floor story building belonging to the Armac Media Group. That's according to the communique they issued today. And we talk about these road accidents that occurred in Buda, in the west region of the country. It is a commercial motorbike rider, 25 years old, who dies after hitting a vehicle. The local administrative authorities are blaming the deceased for reckless driving. Details with Charles Ekome.
Shock and consternation engulfed the family members of Tenambu Boniface, a 25-year-old commercial motorbike rider in Buda, in the Bamboo Tools division of the West region. He died in an accident in the early hours of June 30th, 2021 in Buda. According to the 4th Deputy Mayor of Buda, he knocked a private vehicle which was parked along the streets. The mayor further says that the young man was overspeeding, which led to his demise. We have just witnessed an awful scene with regards to the way the road is being used by road users. This time around, a commercial motorbike rider who was on high speed hit a private vehicle which was well parked. In the course of the accident, he died on the spot. The mayor also warned the population to respect traffic laws in order to avoid such circumstances. We urge the local population to respect traffic laws, especially when it comes to cruising on high speed in town. This message most specifically goes to commercial motorbike riders in the town of Mbuda. With the wailing and agitated crowd, security officials were present to maintain law and order as the paramedics conducted a cleanup exercise on the mortal remains of Tenambu Boniface before his body was being transported to the morgue pending burial arrangements.
4 human bone traffickers have been arrested by elements of the West Gendarmerie Legion. That was Monday, June 28th. They were as well presented to the public with the human bones they carried in bags. Bia Aruna 48, Alim Ibrahim 27, Usman Isa and Ibrahim Dewa 38 were arrested on June 18 at Camp Onyong, a neighborhood in Bafusam, in possession of 3 human skeletons ready for the market. From investigations carried out by forces of law and order under the supervision of Lieutenant Mukoko Dumbe, the human bones originate from Jimun in the Nun division of the West region. We now talk something else. We're taking you to the southwest region of the country, where Governor Bernardo Kalabilai has once more called on parents to tell their children see holding arms in bushes to drop them down, for the Regional Assembly Special Status will heal their wounds. provide, or that's the provision of what they have been demanding before the socio-political crisis that began in 2016. He assured them that all their grievances will be listened to and addressed adequately. Take a listen to him as he was speaking after a meeting that held yesterday in Boya, chieftain of the Southwest region.
The meeting is to bring all the living forces of this region, all the stakeholders, the local official elected, to go to the grassroots population and to talk to those of their sons and daughters, those of their family members who are still hanging around with guns, to drop their guns. Because today, what the population of this region were expecting, they already have it. I mean, the regional assembly with special status that can do all what the population were expecting. They can solve all the problems of the population, because we have in that special status commissioners who are like local ministers with a whole house of chief. So they no longer need to continue in disturbing the peaceful life of the people, the development of this very important region in terms of economic, by moving around, kidnapping. The state has done his part of the work. The head of state has given them the region with special status. Now they should go and talk to their sons. After the grand national dialogue, now it's time for local dialogue within the families, within the communities, to convince their children that they should stop, they should drop their guns, they should drop their weapons.
Onto this other story, Honorable Kumasi Simon Powo, CPGM MP for the Santa constituency in the northwest region of the country, shocks Cameroonians as he speaks out fire in the National Assembly. He blames government officials for allowing the colonial master France for dictating their laws in the Republic of Cameroon, reason why the country is plagued by so many problems, this constituting a huge block for the development of the country. Immaculate Fogwe has details.
The declaration of Honorable Kumase during the ongoing June parliamentary session came as a shock to many Cameroonians, considering that he is a member of the ruling CPDM party.
From the north down to the northwest to Kambe, where are you going to start? And everywhere is like it has problem. Everywhere has problem. Everywhere has problem. How can one man sit here and we are talking about problem? Where did the problem come from? The bad educational system we have. The education on how to read and write. Geography, history, philosophy, whole sociology. Then come and create funny names in this country. Economas superior, the travaux public. Economas superior. It means we are training superior technicians. Where are they? That we're crying all this trouble. Where are they?
He further blames the situation of the nation on the system inherited from colonial masters who continually interfere in the affairs of the country.
The trouble is our colonial masters. I'm the one telling you, let us stop playing with us. We are not children. We have reached age we can do things on our own. We can dig those boreholes, water. We can do them. We can do them. Remember, before you started making this thing we call Suzuki, we use wood and made Suzuki. When they came here to sell our petrol, they said, except you sell it at the petrol station. But today, people can sit by the road, put that thing, put 10 liter, put 5 liter, put this and sell.
The MP is also worried that Cameroonians are not being transferred the required technology by foreign companies operating in the country.
Where is the local content of this country? Where is it? The local content says wherever a foreign establishment or a foreign company comes to this country, whether we have the manpower or not, They should take the manpower from that country and train them and employ them. This was absent. They come with their technology, they hide it, and after doing it, they plunge us into all the problems we are facing today. And now we are fighting ourselves while they are clapping. We should be wise Cameroonian people.
The Member of Parliament was speaking while questioning the Minister of Water and Energy, Gaston Elundo Isumba, on the problems plaguing the water and electricity sector in Cameroon.
It has been revealed that thousands of children in the Kupe Maningoba division and Manyo division of the southwest region of the country are without the birth certificate as a result of the close to 5 years old armed conflicts that have been rocking the two English-speaking regions. And this was revealed during a two-day workshop that brought together mayors of the sets localities and civil status registers. Davidson Maimo has details.
Statistics shows that since the advent of the conflict in the northwest and southwest region, a good number of children do not have birth certificate. According to Tabe Ruth, expert working in this domain, the situation is a pathetic one.
The socio-political crisis that we have right now, if you talk anything about civil status, they'll say it's a government thing. Some of our relay agents have suffered, some of them were kidnapped, some of them were locked up, but we were able to penetrate and make them understand that it's not just about the government, it's about the individuals, those who need those documents.
The mayors of Nguti in Kupe Maningoba Division, Etong George, and that of a Yumujok in Manyu Division, His Royal Highness Tar Ayamba Jacques, all in the southwest region, say civil status registration centers in their respective municipalities are all shadow of themselves.
Most of our populations have been displaced, and when they are displaced and go to the other areas and they need these documents, it becomes very difficult for them to come back to have it from us. So that is a very, very serious problem. We had, for instance, in the Imojok, we have about 4 secondary civil status centers. As a result of this crisis, it caused most of the civil status secretaries in those secondary centers, had to leave their homes to safer areas.
Nonetheless, the conflict has increased birth registration in more secured areas.
Crisis has instead improved our registration of birth certificates for those who have been displaced, who have come to residence in Mafe town. And maybe some of these girls who are vulnerable are having children on a daily basis. Therefore, our birth registration on cards have increased from what it used to be.
This revolution was brought to the limelight during a 2-day workshop to drill mayors and civil status registered in Manyu and Kupe Maningoba Division, aimed at educating parents on the importance of birth certificate and to restructure the civil status register in accordance with national and international norms.
The performance of internally displaced candidates writing the GCE ordinary and advanced level might be affected as a result of their poor living conditions. That was revealed by education stakeholders in Limbe in the southwest region. They were equally taking some measures to ensure these students with this special particularity are taken charge of, so they ameliorate their performance as they write the GCE ordinary and advanced levels that started yesterday. Davidson Maimo once again.
The ripple effect of the ongoing Anglophone armed conflict may adversely affect the result of internally displaced students sitting in for the General Certificate of Education, the GCE, and other related public examinations.
I left my parents there, and being here, I am just with my elder sister, so food problem, rent, or some kind of textbook.
Leaving your family all back there in the bush and coming to a land where you have never been to, and just all alone, renting a house alone, staying alone, financing yourself to school, it's not that easy.
Facing so many difficulties here because we cannot, at times, don't have food to eat. We cannot pay our house rent, our landlord said that we should go, but we are managing.
The principals of Government Bilingual High School and Government High School, all in Limbe, say the Minister of Secondary Education, Professor Nalova Lyonga, instructed school authorities to provide maximum support to this category of students.
We had a few difficulties with them Some of them could not even meet up with registration. Following instructions from the Minister of Secondary Education, we had to support them as an administrative staff. We did some little contribution to help those very desperate cases.
We give them books when they need books. We give them didactic materials when they need it. We are supporting them morally, financially, if the need arises.
Despite all these, support to the IDPs candidate have been coming in from various directions.
We're all one students, and I think when we're students, some of us lacked pencils, some of us lacked calculators, some of us lacked math sets. But today we thought it wise to encourage students by giving them that, because education is everything. Education is our future.
The students admitted some of them never had GC written materials.
I was unable to afford for some of the items.
I've not yet gotten some writing materials, so it's like somehow helpful to me. I'm really grateful, because with this I know I don't have to buy this again, because it has already been provided by them. And
it actually encourages us to do well in the GCE.
Everything being equal, Equinoxe TV can only wish all students sitting in for the General Certificate of Education success.
On how the GCE kick-started in Limbe, notably government's bilingual high school Limbe, Davidson Maimo spoke to the principal, who said all started history. Take a listen.
I'm Madam Elizabeth, principal GBHS Limbe. Everything has taken off smoothly. We have security, we have our COVID focal points around, we have our invigilators, we have some roving staff who take care of emergency situations and all of that. GBHS Limbe is hosting its students as well as the My1 external candidates. So in all we have the internal candidates we have 699, and for the external candidates we have 274, which gives us a total of 973 candidates. Everything is in place, and I think the exams have taken off smoothly.
I will take you to the east region of the country, where the Chinese company continues to exploit gold, yet undermining the development of that locality called Kana. And the population are disgruntled. They are wishing that as their resources are being exploited, it should be accompanied by development of their locality. Details with Mala Glory.
Kana is a locality in the Keti subdivision of the Kadid division in the east region of Cameroon, whose population are living in very precarious condition. The natives of this locality face great torment as their gold mine are being exploited with no benefit. They lack basic social amenities such as health, education, water and energy.
Since
11 years that exploitation started in this area, nothing has changed in order to ameliorate the living condition of the natives.
Il n'y a pas arrangé le village, les petites constructions de l'école. Ils n'ont pas eu à finir, ils ont commencé.
In spite being blessed with rich gold deposit and other natural resources, which should normally be an advantage to the in-need and as well improve on their living conditions, its exploitation has rather become the center of conflict between the exploiters and the inhabitants.
Ça va un peu, mais il est sur traitement jusqu'à l'heure actuelle.
He is feeling much better after he was shot by one of the Chinese exploiters. Though still on treatment, we had to leave the hospital due to lack of finances.
On était obligé de quitter de l'hôpital parce qu'il y avait déjà manque de moyens. Et on a fait comprendre au CB de...
Gold, which is a source of wealth, is somehow regarded as misfortune in this area because a lot of holes occasioned by the exploitation of these resources are most often not filled, which leads to incidents and deaths. It consists of so many risks: environmental risk and that of rearers, such as cattle rearers. The struggle of finding a way out of poverty has pushed both kids and women to undertake this strenuous and dangerous exercise. I am 13 years old. and have been doing this since 2019. We just dig the soil and obtain gold. We sell 1 kilograms for 20,000 francs. However, the inhabitants of Kana, just like other villages in the Kete subdivision, keep licking their own wounds as their gold mine is exploited at their own expense.
Up next is Talking Point. Today we are having as guest Tanfo Jones. He is the Secretary General of Modekna Party. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Innocent Ase. It's a pleasure to be here today to see how we can talk. Because we have been talking, we keep talking, and we'll continue talking till there's change. You know, so many things are ongoing in this country these days, and our leaders seems to have little or no interest as to what concerns all that's going on in the country. But we will continue holding them accountable through talks. So we'll continue talking on air and see if one day they will change and make things happen the way they should in Cameroon.
You say there is no change in the country, but government leaders believe there is change.
Yeah, maybe there's change at the level of their finances. You know, some of them have have squandered COVID-19 180 billion. So why wouldn't they say there's change? There's a change at the level of their pockets, but at the level of the country and at the level of the common man, there's no change.
The common man is still bleeding.
He's still bleeding. And as I find myself closest to the common man, I feel the pains more than they who are over there in Yaoundé, because there's a saying, a common saying, that when Yaoundé is bleeding, Cameroon is living. So for them, as they are bleeding, they think Cameroon is living. But that's not true. Yeah, but that's not true, because the reality is very bitter. Cameroon is down, and Cameroonians are suffering, and so many questions are being asked, so many problems seeking solution, but no one is bringing out the solutions that is needed. So we are hoping that God will touch some of them one of these days to see how they will be able to speak the truth, accept their failure, and then see how we carry this country and move forward.
And you can only speak the truth when you must have repented.
You must have repented, because if they don't repent, I'm sorry, Cameroon still has a long way to go.
Okay, Tanfo Jones, let's dive into talk about the security meeting that held in Boya, chieftain of the Southwest region, coordinated by the governor Bernardo Karabilai. He says it was actually meant to see how some resolutions of the major national dialogue could be effectively put in place to bring complete peace in the region. And during that meeting, he as well, just like you listen to him in our next step here, he said the parents should continue mounting pressure on their children, still holding arms in bushes, to drop them down, because there has been a creation of the regional assembly that will heal their wounds. How do you receive that?
Yeah, all efforts that comes into see an end to this war is welcomed by John Stanford. And but my question is, they continue talking and we see least action. Ever since they held the national dialogue, and they said that they have granted the Northwest and the Southwest a special status, of which up till now we don't know the contents of that special status. The special status seemed to be an empty calabash that was given to the people of the Northwest and the Southwest. That up to today, the people of the Northwest and the Southwest have broken the calabash and have realized that there is nothing in that calabash, and yet these guys are brandishing the calabash, the broken calabash, that there is still something in the calabash. I don't know if they will squeeze the broken parts of the calabash to show us maybe what is inside something to come out of it, for them to show to us that this is the special status we talk about. Now they are saying that children should parents should talk to their children so that they can their few children, because he even mentioned that there are just a few number of them still who hanging around with guns, that the parents should tell them to drop their guns. Are the parents the people who push the children into the bushes? The parents didn't send these children into the bushes. These children pick up arms and went to the bushes by their own will, and some parents were never in.
Some say they were radicalized by the military.
I was coming there. They were radicalized by the military, which means that the parents have little or nothing, because most parents, there's no parent who would accept that a child should carry a gun into the bush. But the children have, some of them are adults, and they have their own decisions to take. I once heard there was one young man in Kumbu who saw his picture that wanted that he was an armed when he was not an armed, so he decided to be going to enter into the bush. So you realize that, and people whom you have killed their family members, some of those youth, their family members were killed, their houses burnt, they had nowhere to go to.
All they had
was to fight back and die fighting instead of dying with their arms held, folded. So I think that when he says parents should talk to those children, who are the parents to talk to the children? How many of those children parents are still alive? Some of them have died. Some are fighting because they are revenging their parents that were killed by people whom they think were the military. So I think that if somebody is to speak to somebody, the governor should see into it that the government should solve the problem, because only what took these children into the bushes would bring the children out if they went there because of a problem, and the problem is not solved, and we think that we will use some cosmetic solutions to bring out the children from the bushes. I bet you in some 5, 10, 20, 15 years, some other young children will still carry guns into the same bushes. So if we don't solve this problem now, the problem will still emerge in the nearest future. So we should stop deceiving ourselves that people should talk to people to come out of the bushes. What took those children into the bushes? Have the things that took them to the bushes, the questions that took them to the bushes, have they been given answers? No. Have the problems that they said, that they brought up, that were their grievances, that made them to carry arms and enter into the bushes, have the problem they look into? No. What makes you think that they will come from the bushes and sit quiet? Look at those that have even dropped the guns that are being kept in the DDR centers. They are complaining every day. We have seen them. They have gone out on strike twice. This shows that the living conditions in the DDR center is not very good. And if it's not good and encouraging, you want the others to come and meet those in the DDR center who are already telling their brothers in the bushes that they are suffering in the DDR center, and you are still campaigning that those in the bushes should leave. What will make you think that I will leave from the bush, come to the DDR center when the people in the DDR center are suffering?
And they've been protesting. The conditions, all what was promised
was never met. So I think that this ball game is not working. The government, through the governor, should see into it how they can solve the problem, because we cannot continue doing the same thing day in, day out, and we expect different results. We are running in the back. So they should see into how they will solve this Anglophone problem. If they solve this Anglophone problems, I bet you nobody have to talk to these children to leave their guns. They will leave their guns quietly and peacefully and come out of the bushes, and life will return to normalcy. But if they think that they will continue playing this ping pong game around and don't solve this problem, I think we are running inside the back, and the problem will continue. We are now into this problem is 5 years. And before you know it, 10 years, now they are building a DDR center down there. Another proof that this problem is going to last for a little bit.
We are playing, and gradually the situation is aggravating.
It is aggravating. I remember some 2 years ago, I said if there's somebody who is hearing me and who talks to Mr. Biya, he should tell Mr. Biya, who is the president of this nation, that the more this problem stays, the more dangerous it becomes. Before, we had people who were marching with peace plans in their hands. From peace plans, they graduated to machetes and then guns. From then guns, they started holding AK-47s. From AK-47s, they're now using explosives. What is the next thing they will start using? As time is going, they are working on their war tactics. They will now gaining fighting skills, and it is not good for us. If we don't solve this problem now, 10 years to come, this country may not be what we are seeing today. These fighters are gaining more experience as the day goes by. So it is of our own advantage and our own good to solve this problem now before it gets out of hand. Because where we are already, it's already out of hand. Because there are bombs that have been planted that have not yet exploded, maybe. And in the nearest future, even if the boys in the bushes leave the guns and come back to town, one day you will just see another bomb will explode from somewhere. That is the consequence of utter war. And now there's what has been established, which is known as war economy. People have established their businesses in this war. They are taking policemen, many uniform, are taking bribe harassing the population. They arrest you and say, if you don't give this amount of money, we'll take you to Yaoundé and take you Amba. And the bosses, some of the bosses too in the bushes, are kidnapping people and getting money from them. If you lost a loved one, Mr. Babila, I believe you should be from Bali. If you lost a loved one there and you have to go there to bury the person, these guys are asking you to pay money ranging from 300,000 to 800,000 to 1 million before you come to bury.
The economic gains simply accelerates the crisis. They will never end.
It will never end. The more it stays, the more it becomes uncontrollable.
Okay, we have the CPDM MP for the Santa constituency, Honorable Kumase Simon Powo, who shocks Cameroonians in the National Assembly by spitting out fire, saying that our authorities have allowed France, the colonial master, to continue dictating their laws. The reason why we have so many problems today that we could handle, but we depend on France. The reason why we are still underdeveloped. Do you abide, or how do you even receive? Does it shock you in any way to see a CPDM MP coming out to speak the truth in front of Cameroonians today?
It doesn't shock,
because we know very well that CPDM MPs are always supporting the regime.
It doesn't shock me because the CPDM is always supporting the regime. That's true. But the MP, who is closer to his population and he is the mouthpiece of his people, is supposed to speak the truth irrespective of his party. Be it in the CPDM, in the SCF, in the CRM, in Modena, you should be able to tell the parliament, you should be able to tell Mr. Biya that my people of Kambe are suffering. My people of Ako, of Mwa subdivision, they don't have potable water. They don't have health facilities. You are supposed to do that because that is your job. But if you go there and you think that you want to be working there and towing the party lines, then who are you working for? Are the people who voted you to that office the population you are representing? Oh, the party officials that voted you there. If you are appointed by the party, then you should be towing the party line always. But if you were voted for the people for a purpose, because the people vote you to go and speak their mind, to speak their problems to the government in place so that they will hear, because Mr. Biya cannot be everywhere all the time. So he have these people who are to come to give feedback of how their constituencies are being run and how the difficulties they are facing, so that the government will see how they will be solving the problems one after the other.
So it was a very good example to other CPDM.
It's a very good example. But when you want to look critically, you see that Mr. Biya is facing problems because there are some conventions that were signed by the former president of Cameroon, President Ahijo, who was of late, who that were 100-year convention that is running to an end, that Mr. Biya has been forced to sign some of them and he's not signing, and they are under his boot. So at this point in time, we applaud the president for that, because those long conventions are not good for the Cameroonian population, and we are encouraging and saying that. But when you want to encourage again and clap for Mr. Biya for that action, he goes again to give an account to the French president Emmanuel Macron of how the national dialogue went. Meanwhile, he has never addressed the Cameroonian population, telling them that this is what we discussed at the national dialogue, and these are the things that we came out of. This is what I, as a president, think that will go a wrong way to solve this Anglophone problem and make Cameroon become once again. And then I disagreed with this MP of Santa, who made mention of problems in Cameroon. Yes, they will know
rapidly.
Yes, we know problems are everywhere in Cameroon, but the Northwest and the Southwest have a particular problem because they were being
just try to round up so that
they were being administered under the British colonial by the British.
Yes.
So the French Cameroon, which is the Republic of Cameroon, was under the French. So these are two countries, two entities that came together to become one. So if you stand saying that the problem of the Northwest and the Southwest is a general problem in the whole country, I will disagree with you. That is minimizing the problems and the cry of those of the Southwest and the Northwest.
Thank you so very much, Stanford Jones.
Thank you so much.
Secretary General
of Modena Political Party. Alliance with the MRC Party.
Okay, that's great. We're so happy having you today on Talking Points.
Always a pleasure.
And of course, it will always be a pleasure to have you on Talking Points on Equinoxe Television. And to you, viewers, thanks so much for being part of this edition of the 6 p.m. Primetime Newscast. To have a splendid evening. Bye-bye.